91st meeting of the 71st term of the Baltimore City Council is now called to order. I'm going to ask anyone to have cell phones, please turn them off or put them on vibrating. Tonight's invocation will be led by Pastor Erica Jackson Stokes of the Howard University School of Divinity. After the invocation, please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor.
Before we pray, I'd like to take a moment to thank and acknowledge Council President Jack Young, the elected council members, including my dad, Councilman Carl Stokes, to all citizens, constituents, and guests. Let us pray. Most loving and eternal God, most merciful and benevolent, blessed are you, Elohim, our God, sovereign of the universe. You are a God of order, a God of justice. You are a God of power, a God of promise. To you, Lord, leader of all, we give praise and thanks. Thank you for giving us the opportunity and privilege to serve your people. Thank you for raising us up with ability and strength to lead. Thank you for shielding us and protecting us when we battle. Thank you for coming to our aid when problems arise. We thank you for bringing about revelation of brokenness and injustice. You are the one true seeker of truth and justice. Thank you for those who live for truth and who you've called to shed light on the dark. Your light reveals all with insight and understanding. Thank you for shining your light on the hidden or forgotten areas of our streets. Thank you for giving voice to the unheard citizens. Thank you for covering our city in times of both stillness and unrest. You uphold our right and our cause. We can't thank you enough. We invite and welcome your presence in our halls, in our chambers, and in this room. We seek your continued judgment as we make decisions and appointments that affect our city. We pray for all gathered here in high positions to lead a peaceful life, godly and dignified in every way that is good and pleasing in your sight. Blessed are those who maintain justice, who constantly do what is right. Give our leaders humility to do this service. Dear Lord, increase our hope and faith that's needed to initiate and create new and bold plans that give greater vision for our city. Bless us with persistence to move forward towards the goal, for every idea, proposal, and act that comes to our hearts to care for the lives you've called us to serve. Bless us with the fortitude to endure and follow through. We know that in you all things are possible, so we continue to work with confidence even when there are delays or setbacks. We continue to advocate for just laws. We continue to vote for protection and equality. Allow us to issue proclamations of integrity and righteousness. Dear Lord, intercede with knowledge and wisdom to allow us to work to secure policies that lead to stability. Bless us with passion to legislate for the underemployed and undereducated. Bless us with compassion to govern for concerned citizens and not careless corporations. Allow us to hear one another as colleagues, to work and build together. Guide us as we make difficult decisions. We ask now, Lord, that you remove any corruption, any selfishness, or any ill attempt to block collective progress. Remove any cloudy language or hidden plans. Let us always propose the best interests of our people. Allow us to respond swiftly yet intelligently. Remind us to consider our differences, yet notify us when our divide has gone beyond productivity. Forgive us when we put our self-pleasing agendas before the least of these. Forgive us when we forget who we truly serve. Lead us not into competition, but deliver us from egos. Lead us not into quarreling, but deliver us from stubbornness. Allow us to act justly and love mercy. We seek the welfare of this city and pray to you, Lord, on its behalf. You instruct us and teach us the way we should go. You counsel us. Blessed are you, Lord, who has kept us alive, sustained us, and enabled us to reach this very moment. Blessed are you, Lord, Adonai, Asalam, our God, sovereign and all-powerful. In your mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pastor. The clerk will call the roll of the members.
President Young, Scott, Henry, Specter, Middleton, Mosby, Holton, Walsh, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Branch.
Finish.
Clark, Kraft. Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, I will entertain a motion to change the order of business so we can adopt the consent calendar and recognize special guests who have joined us this evening. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Spector.
Mr. President, members of the council, I motion to change the order.
Your mic is not on. You got to use your mic.
I'm sorry. Mr. President, members of the council, I make a motion to change the order of business.
Second by Councilwoman Middleton. All those in favor of the motion to change the order of business that we may adopt the consent calendar say aye. All those opposed, nay. The motion passes. We will now change the order of business. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Spector.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. On April the 16th, we received an email from the Director of Governmental Relations, Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners, Dwana Sturrett. The CEO is at Mount Washington School, surprising Ryan Kaiser to let him know that he is the Baltimore City Public Schools Teacher of the Year for 2015. Great teaching is a cause to celebrate all year long. But this event gives me a terrific opportunity to spotlight what effective teaching looks like here in the city of Baltimore. Mr. Kaiser, a 6th and 7th grade school studies teacher, has taught for more than 16 years, including 10 years in Baltimore. He is Mount Washington's coach for the Baltimore Urban Debate League, a mentor teacher, and a teacher member of the school's parent-teacher organization. Beyond the Mount Washington community, Mr. Kaiser writes middle school honors curriculum for city schools, serves as the communications coordinator for the Maryland Council for Social Studies, and writes curriculum and lesson plans for teachers nationwide for the White House Visitor Center. Mr. Kaiser also founded a summer camp in 2007 that takes students on field trips along the East Coast from New York City to Assateague Island. Throughout the year, he raises money to help students attend the camp. I encourage you to learn more about Mr. Kaiser in this press release and to join me in congratulating him for all that he has done for our students. It was a tough competition this year, as you'll see by reading about the other outstanding teachers who were finalists in this year's competition. It is so important to celebrate these exceptional teachers, as well as the many other extraordinary teachers in our schools, as we raise the bar and help students achieve in college, careers, and life. Mr. Teacher of the Year, Ryan Kaiser, your wife, Lauren, your 5 children, Jamila, 14, Talia, 10, Kaija, 7, James, 5, and William, 11 months. Will you please come and accept this wonderful, wonderful
Hey, Ricky, Councilwoman Spector, can you speak in the mic? This is a big deal. This is the Teacher of the Year.
Thank you, thank you. City of Baltimore Certificate of Recognition. On behalf of the citizens of Baltimore, I am pleased to present this certificate to Ryan Kaiser in recognition of your excellent work and dedication to the children of Baltimore City Public Schools. Oh, Dr. Thornton, we couldn't do it without you. Please, please. You have made a positive difference in the lives of our youth, and your efforts to empower them is an inspiration. On behalf of the citizens of Baltimore, I offer my commendation and gratitude for the splendid quality of service you have rendered and for your sincere commitment to the academic success of our city's youth. Congratulations, Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake. Not to be outdone, just as sincere, the City Council of Baltimore, the resolution, be it hereby known to all that the City Council of Baltimore offers its sincerest congratulations to Ryan Kaiser in recognition of your being named Baltimore City Public Schools Teacher of the Year 2015. The entire membership extends best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution be presented. This was the 16th day of April, but we were busy somewhere else. Bernard Jack Young, President, Rochelle Ricky Spector, and all members of the City Council. I'm going to give you now. Everybody knows there should be an apple for the teacher. And a very, very beautiful flower for my lady. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mr. President?
Everybody turn around. Sharon next. Thank you. Councilwoman Middleton, you next, right?
Well, congratulations to the Teacher of the Year, but we also are going to quickly congratulate two special people. This happens to be...
Did you give her the move for floor privileges? Well,
we're going to hold off?
No, you're moving for floor privileges, second by Council Vice President Rod Singer. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. You may introduce your guests and bring them to the floor.
Okay. I'd like to come forward, the Director of the Department of Aging, Arnold Eppel, and Betsy Simon, which is with the ZHAP program at the Zeta Center on Reisterstown Road. And a little later, we're going to be approving this special month. But since we're doing these presentations, we're going to go ahead and move forward. But I'm a commissioner on the Department of Aging, representing the council and the council president. And this particular month happens to be Older Americans Month. And these are such hard-working people for this city. And of course, our seniors, and we don't call them seniors anymore, our older adults are, a strong part and a strong force of this city. They're in charge of community associations, they're, block captains, they are ushers in the church, they help guide our youth, they're the grandparents, aunts, uncles. They just do wonders for this city. And I just want you to take time to this month just to say thank you. Thank you to that older adult that's in your neighborhood, your next door neighbor. Thank them for the wonderful things that they do every day in helping to guide our youth and our young adults and their families. And I have these two special citations in honor of this month. And Director Arnold Eppel. This is a resolution, be it hereby known to all, that the City Council of Baltimore offers its sincerest congratulations to Arnold Eppel and Betsy Simon with the ZHAP program in recognition of your dedication and exemplary service to the seniors of Baltimore City. The entire membership extends best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution be presented on this 11th day of May, 2015, signed by the President and all members. And again, we can't thank you enough. They have been just changing the wonderful programs, and you're going to be really seeing changes in the older adult centers around here. I'm just happy to say that the Zeta Center is a big example of what's going to take place, and partnerships. Partnerships are so important, and if you have time, come and take a look at what's going on there at the Zeta Center, because we want to spread that wealth, and Betsy Simon here is a wonderful volunteer that she's willing and ready to spread what she does in other areas of the city. So I can't thank you both enough.
Thank you.
And we'd like to get a picture going here, too. And any council member is welcome to join me.
Thank you. We need, Councilwoman Spector.
Mr. President, my colleague and I work together. We're next door to each other. But there is a new word for us. We're mature teenagers.
Okay. We need to go back just for one little thing that I failed to do. When we were changing the order of the business, I forgot to ask all those in favor of approving the consent calendar, say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. This is approved. Today's showcase Baltimore presentation is Leslie Wright of the Citizen Law Related Education Program. Their programs are designed to teach youth about the law and American judicial system through real-world educational experiences while fostering skills necessary to succeed in education and career paths. And we have two of the outstanding pages here with us today from the program. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Leslie Wright, and I work for Citizenship Law-Related Education Programs. And we are entering our 40th year this year of servicing not only the state of Maryland, but also a heavy focus in Baltimore City. We provide law-related educational programs to youth and teachers across the state. 5 of our programs are seen here throughout the state. The one is the high school mock trial competition, where high schoolers actually compete against each other, with real cases. Another program that we run is the Baltimore City Council Page program, where Baltimore City high school youth are able to apply and work here at the City Council, learning about the laws and how they are made. Another program that we run is Law Links Summer Internship, which is for high school youth entering the 11th and 12th grade. It's a 7-week paid internship where the youth actually work at various law firms or nonprofits across the city. And another program that we run is the Baltimore City Teen Court Diversion Program. It is a program that not only offers diversion to our Baltimore City youth who are arrested or charged with misdemeanor offenses, but it also provides leadership skills for other youth because they sit in the courtroom and are actually a jury for those youth, and they provide them with their consequences. As with many programs and nonprofits out here, we look to serve the city, and we serve the city well. When we're not running our programs, we are sitting here looking for funding. And during this time, I think it's very important that we are looking at some of these established programs that are here, and we ask anybody to reach out and become a community resource, a place for our youth to do internships or community service. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for all the work that you do. Okay, it is the council custom to journalize the invocation. Ask for a motion to journalize the prayer. Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
Yes, Mr. President, thank you. I move that we journalize tonight's prayer.
Second by Council Vice President Reisinger. All those in favor of journalize the prayer, say aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. We'll now proceed with the adoption of the journal.
Mr. President, the journal of the proceedings from the May 4th City Council meeting is on the council member's desk.
Is there a motion to approve the journal? Motion by Councilman Scott, second by Councilwoman Spector. All those in favor of adopting the journal, say aye. All those opposed, nay. The motion carried. The journal is adopted. Bills signed by the mayor can be found on page 2 to 3 of the agenda. Executive nominations withdrawn.
EA 15-0271, Scott J. Richmond, Member, Environmental Control Board, 11th District.
Executive nominations.
EA 15-0284, Michael Furbish, Member, Commission on Sustainability.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 15-0285, Avis Ransom, Member, Commission on Sustainability, 3rd District.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 15-0286, Inez Robb, Member, Commission on Sustainability, 9th District.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 15-0287, Mary Denise Davis, Member, Civilian Review Board, 14th District.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee. Bills will be introduced.
City Council Bill 15-0532, Ordinance of Estimates for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2016. Ordinance for the purpose of providing the appropriations estimated to be needed by each agency of the City of Baltimore for operating programs and capital projects during the fiscal 2016 year. Sponsor, City Council President, on behalf of the administration.
This has been assigned to the Budget and Appropriation Committee.
City Council Bill 15-0533, Annual Property Tax, Fiscal Year 2016. Ordinance for the purpose of providing a tax for the use of the Mayor and City Council of Baltimore for the period July 1, 2015 through June 30, 2016, providing for estimated billing pursuant to state law, and setting the semi-annual payment service charge for that period. Sponsor, City Council President, on behalf of the administration.
This has been assigned to the Budget and Appropriation Committee.
City Council Bill 15-0534, operating budget for the City of Baltimore, for the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2016, Mayor and City Council resolution for the purpose of approving the budget estimated to be needed for the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners for operating programs during fiscal 2016, providing for certification of the approved budget to the State Superintendent of Schools, and providing for a special effective date. Sponsor, City Council President, on behalf of the administration.
This has been assigned to the Budget and Appropriation Committee.
City Council Bill 15-0535, City Streets, closing Worcester Street. Ordinance for the purpose of condemning and closing Worcester Street, extending from CSX Transportation Railroad right-of-way southeasterly 301.6 feet, more or less, toward Ridgely Street, as shown on Plat 214A, 14A, and the Office of the Department of General Services, and providing for a special effective date. Sponsor, City Council President, on behalf of the administration.
This has been assigned to the Housing and Community Development Committee.
City Council Bill 15-0536, sale of property, former bed of Worcester Street. Ordinance for the purpose of authorizing the Mayor and City Council of Baltimore to sell at either public or private sale all to interest in a certain parcel of land known as the former bed of Worcester Street, extending from CSX Transportation Railroad right-of-way toward Ridgely Street, and no longer needed for public use, and providing for a special effective date. Sponsor, City Council President, on behalf of the administration.
This has been assigned to the Taxation, Finance, and Economic Development Committee. Resolution to be introduced.
City Council Resolution 15-0226R, Community Economic Development and Struggling Neighborhoods. Resolution for the purpose of requesting that the Baltimore Development Corporation, Finance Department, Department of Housing and Community Development, Health Department, Baltimore City Public Schools, Mayor Office of Employment Development, and Planning Department report to the City Council on the community economic development tools available to distressed neighborhoods in Baltimore City, how these tools are currently being used to develop and reinvest in neighborhoods, and how city agencies can further collaborate with private, state, and federal partners to foster positive community change and create strong, vibrant, economically successful neighborhoods. Sponsor, President Young, Branch, Costello, Stokes, Kraft, Holton, Middleton, Clark, Spector, Reisinger.
Please note, Councilman Scott, Councilman Mosby, and Councilman Welch as co-sponsors. This resolution is self-explanatory. As we know, and Councilman Henry, neighborhoods down in the harbor and neighborhoods where development really makes sense, developers flock to those areas. We want to see if we can get most of the city agencies to come up with tools to try to push development to the less desired neighborhoods. And this is a hearing where we can bring them in, where we can sit around the table with all of the city agencies, and we're going to invite some nonprofits in as well to see how we can push some development in these less desirable neighborhoods. We did that with the Pompleton in Pete Welch's district, and we want to see how we can push it further into other districts with some incentives and thinking outside of the box so that we can stretch the investments further into our neighborhoods that have disinvestments in them. So I want to thank my council colleagues for their support. I'm looking forward to having dialogue with our city agencies and some of the nonprofits out there and how we can fix this thing and make Baltimore a thriving city for the entire city, not just for parts of Baltimore City. Thank you. This has been assigned to Taxation, Finance, and Economic Development Committee.
City Council Resolution 15-0227R, Older Americans Month, May 2015, resolution for the purpose of recognizing May 2015 as Older Americans Month and urging all Baltimoreans to take time this month to get into the act of taking the time this month to get into the act by celebrating older adults and the people who serve and support them as powerful and vital individuals who greatly contribute to the community. Sponsor Middleton, President Young, Costello, Stokes, Kraft, Holton, Scott, Reisinger, Clark, Spector.
Please note that Councilman Mosby, Councilman Welch, and Councilman Branch as co-sponsors. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Middleton.
Thank you, and thank you all, council members, for co-sponsoring this Older Americans Month, May 2015. And as I mentioned a little earlier, we always have to continue to give strength and recognize our older Americans that are right here in Baltimore. They guide and lead us. They have lots of wisdom and direction, and we need to take time to not just say thank you in the month of May, but give thanks all the time, and try to instill in our young people that again, they have lots of knowledge and wisdom to help share some of that responsibility. And some of the things that have been happening throughout the last couple of weeks, we need to listen to our older adults too, and get information from them on learning how to follow the process of just about everything. Again, it takes that partnership. I recognized a adult center in my district because I know it so well and know it's a successful partnership. And Betsy Simon, that has that program ZHAP, it's a program that can spread all over the city. And Director Arnold Apple recognizes that, and they're working with, we remember the Waxter Center, when that was a very thriving, that's in Councilman Eric Costello's district. That was at one time a very thriving senior center. It was one of the best, and we're working to try to get that back together. And we have the senior, I just know different ones offhand. We have the wonderful one in the center of Patterson Park. So they're doing wonderful things. ZHAP, they have a senior prom that they have every year that they bring in with the youth and partner and do things. So these centers are developing not just for the older American, but we want youth to use these facilities as well. I can't say that enough. I thank you all for signing on to this again. And Mr. President, I'd like to move to suspend the appropriate rules so that the council can immediately adopt this resolution.
Okay, second by Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor of suspend the rules for immediate adoption of this resolution say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. The rules suspended. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Middleton.
And, Mr. President, I move the resolution favorable.
Second by Councilman Costello. All those in favor of adopting Resolution 15-0227R, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion carries. This resolution is adopted.
Thank you.
City Council Resolution 15-0228R, informational hearing, costs incurred and potential costs to be incurred by the city that result from the recent unrest and civil emergency. Resolution for the purpose of requesting the Police Department, the Fire Department, and the Department of Finance to report to the City Council about the overtime costs incurred by the Police Department and other city agencies about potential future workmen's compensation costs for claims by members of the police department and other city agencies that may arise from injuries sustained during the recent period of unrest and civil emergency, and how these costs will be paid and the impact of these costs on the city's budget. Sponsor Reisinger, Branch, President Young, Costello, Stokes, Kraft, Scott, Clark, Spector, Middleton.
Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, colleagues on the City Council, I just want to say that because of the civil unrest that occurred in our city, that we should be concerned about the impact that it has going to have on not just next year's budget, but our future budgets. And we have questions. I have questions on the overtime with the police and the fire department and other agencies. The other question I'm concerned about is there a cost, or what is the cost for those counties, the subdivisions that supplied us those resources? And what really concerns me also, to Mr. President, to my colleagues, is regards to workmen's compensation claims that I'm hearing is coming through the city, because the city is self-insured, and we don't know what the cost is. Are they in permanent disability? Is it temporarily disabilities? We have to know is what is the cost that it's going to cost the city of Baltimore, and also when I'm hearing it's 150 to 200 police officers or firefighters that may be on disability. The question is, what effect will that have on deployment in our streets for our police officers and with our firefighters? So I want to thank all my colleagues who co-sponsored on this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. This has been assigned to the Budget and Appropriation Committee. Please note that Councilman Welch is a co-sponsor. Councilman Mosby is a co-sponsor. Any more co-sponsors? Okay, this has been assigned to the Budget and Appropriation Committee. We'll now move the bills on second read, Executive Appointments Committee. Oh, Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft. You have something, Councilman Henry?
I got it.
Okay.
Right. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that all bills on second and third reader be referred to by short titles.
Second by Councilman Henry. All those in favor of short titles for the remaining of the hearing, say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The motion carries. Short titles for the remainder of the hearings. Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 15-0280, Reverend Sheridan Todd Urey, Ph.D., Member, Community Relations Commission.
Chair recognizes Councilman Welch.
Mr. President, the committee held a hearing on Wednesday, May 6, 2015. I move the nomination favorable.
Second by Councilwoman Spector. All those in favor of confirming this nominee, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. This nomination is confirmed.
EA 15-0281, Stephen M. Ruckman, Member, Community Relations Commission.
I move the
11th
nomination
District.
favorable.
Second by Councilman Costello. All those in favor of confirming this nominee, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. This nomination is confirmed.
EA 15-0282, John Westby Jr., Member, Civilian Review Board, 1st District.
Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the nomination favorable.
Second by Councilman Kraft. All those in favor of confirming this nominee, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. This nomination is confirmed.
EA 15-0283, Leon Henry, Member, Civilian Review Board, 3rd District.
Chair recognizes Councilman Welch.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the nomination favorable.
Second by Councilman Scott. All those in favor of confirming this nominee, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. This nominee is confirmed. Health Committee.
City Council Bill 15-0475, Drug Paraphernalia and Smoking Aids, Commercial Display to Minors.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Holton.
Thank you, Mr. President. Filling in for the chair of the committee who's unable to be with us this evening. On April 28th, the Health Committee conducted a public hearing on Council Bill 15475, Drug Paraphernalia and Smoking Aids, Commercial Display to Minors. The committee received and read into the record testimony from the Health Department, City Solicitor, and Police Department. Each agency provided a favorable report for the bill. The City Solicitor offered amendments which were adopted by the committee on May 1st. The bill itself was voted out of committee on May 1st. Mr. President, I move the amendments to the bill.
Second by Councilwoman Middleton. All those in favor of approving the amendment say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion to approve the amendments are adopted. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Holton.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the bill favorable as amended.
All those in favor, second by Councilwoman Middleton. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. This bill moves to third reader. Housing and Community Development.
City Council Bill 14-0437, City Streets closing a portion of Old Hawkins Point Road between Curtis Creek and Pennington Avenue.
Chair recognizes Councilman Henry.
President, the committee heard this bill on March 10th. There are no amendments. I move the bill favorable.
Second by Council Vice President Reisinger. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. This motion is approved. This bill moves to third reader.
Thank you.
Judiciary and Legislative Investigation.
City Council Bill 15-0512, Baltimore Day.
Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, the committee heard this bill on May 6th. There are amendments on the member's desk. I move the amendments at this time.
Second by Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor of approving the amendment say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. The amendments are adopted. Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Mr. President, I move the bill favorably as amended.
Second by Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. This bill moves to third reader.
Mr. President, I
Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
I move to invoke the appropriate rules to move from second reader to third reader on the same day.
Second by Councilman Costello. All those in favor of moving City Council Bill 15-0512 from second to third reader on the same night say aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The motion carried. Council Bill 15-0512 will be voted on when we get to the third reader portion of the agenda. Land Use and Transportation Committee.
City Council Bill 15-0482, zoning conditional use conversion of a two-family dwelling unit to a three-family dwelling unit in the R7 zoning district, 3425 through 3427 Keswick Road.
Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, the amendments are on my colleague's desk. I move the amendment.
Second by Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor of approving the amendment say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. The amendments are adopted. Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, I move the bill favorable as amended.
Second by Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion to approve this bill moves to third reader. Taxation, Finance, and Economic Development Committee.
City Council Bill 14-0430, sale of property 3314 through 3318 Ardale Avenue.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill we heard last Thursday, the real estate reported, and the property is ready to go to private sale. I recommend favorably.
Second by Council Vice President Reisinger. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. This bill moves to third reader.
City Council Bill 14-0452, sale of property 1719 and 23 South Gay Street.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. President. This property, also we heard last Thursday, it is the former home of the Baltimore Culinary Arts School. And this property also has been surplus by the city and for sale. I move favorably.
Second by Councilman Costello. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed, nay. This bill moves to third reader.
City Council Bill 14-0461, sale of property, former beds of a 3-foot alley and a 4-foot alley bounded by West 29th Street, Fox Street, West 28th Street, and Huntington Avenue.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill also heard last Thursday by the committee. We had a report out from Department of Transportation that the two alleys that we're talking about here are not used by the city for sanitation or access or egress. It sits in between a private business and its parking lot. And so we are more than comfortable to close the alleys and allow no longer for it to be used in terms of city. So I move favorably on this particular bill.
Second by Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion to approve this bill moves to third reader. Third reader requiring the invocation of Rule 12-1.
City Council Bill 14-0439, city property naming the Marble Fountain in Patterson Park to be the Dr. Levi Watkins Jr. Memorial Fountain. President Young, Kraft, Scott, Henry, Middleton, Mosby, Holton, Welsh, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Branch, Clark.
This bill is approved. Third reader to be held one meeting.
City Council Bill 14-0438, sale of property, former bed of a portion of Old Hawkins Point Road between Curtis Creek and Pennington Avenue. President Young, Kraft, Scott, Henry, Middleton, Mosby, Holton, Welsh, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Branch, Clark.
What happened?
Right here.
This is going to be held for one meeting.
City Council Bill 15-0473, rezoning 31 through 35 North Fulton Avenue.
These two got to be held for one meeting. Did you do both of them?
Yeah.
Third reader for final passage.
Actually,
You got to take the first one.
City Council Bill 14-0439, Plant Unit Development, Amendment 1, Greektown Redevelopment. President Young, Kraft, Scott, Henry, Middleton, Mosby, Holton, Welsh, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Branch, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 14-0464, Hotels, Human Trafficking Prevention. President Young, Kraft, Scott, Henry, Middleton, Mosby, Holton, Welsh, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Branch, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 15-0468, zoning conditional use restaurant drive-in 5960 through 5980 Bel Air Road. President Young, Kraft, Scott, Henry, Middleton, Mosby, Holton, Welsh, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Branch, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 15-0472, urban renewal Franklin Square Amendment. President Young, Kraft, Scott, Henry, Middleton, Mosby, Holton, Welsh, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Branch, Clark.
Bill is approved.
City Council Bill 15-0477, rezoning 4526, 4600, 4618, 4620, 4622, and 4624 O'Donnell Street. President Young, Kraft, Scott, Henry, Mosby, Middleton, Mosby, Holton, Welsh, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Branch, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 15-0485, Urban Renewal, Sharp Leadenhall Amendment. President Young, Kraft, Scott, Henry, Middleton, Mosby, Holton, Welsh, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Branch, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 15-0512, Baltimore Day. President Young, Kraft, Scott, Henry, Middleton, Mosby, Holton, Welsh, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Branch, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 15-0524, Labor and Employment, Human Trafficking, Whistleblower Protection. President Young, Kraft, Scott, Henry, Middleton, Mosby, Holton, Welsh, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Branch.
This bill is approved. Committee announcements. Committee announcements. Chair recognizes Councilman Henry.
First, if I could give thanks to my colleague from the 2nd District who reminded me that I should be standing up and talking right now. On Thursday, May 14th at 2:30 p.m., the Housing and Community Development Committee will meet here in Chambers for City Council Bill 14-0427, franchise private pedestrian bridgeway above and across and supporting structures in and below the 4100 block of Hillen Road right-of-way. The committee will also meet same date, same time, Thursday, May 14th at 2:30 for a voting session on City Council Bill 14-0459, ordinance city streets, closing certain alleys in the area bounded by West 29th Street, Fox Street, West 28th Street, and Huntington Avenue. And same time, same location, City Council Bill 14-0460, ordinance city streets, closing certain alleys in the area bounded by West 29th Street, Fox Street, West 28th Street, and Huntington Avenue. The Housing Community Development Committee will also meet on Wednesday, May 27th at 10:30 in the morning. This is outside our normally scheduled time because budget hearings will be happening that week during the scheduled time for Housing and Community Development. So we will meet on Wednesday morning at 10:30 to hear City Council Bill 15-0528, Franchise Extenet Systems Incorporated. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee announcements. Committee announcements. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Holton.
Thank you, Mr. President. I need to move to suspend rules. 10- 10-2 and 10-3 to announce a hearing.
Second by Council Vice President Reisinger. All those in favor of suspend the rules, announce a hearing, say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion passed. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Holton.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Budget and Appropriations Committee will hear City Council Bill 532, and you each should have a copy of the schedule on your desk. It is for the ordinance of estimates for fiscal year ending June 30, 2016, for the purpose of providing the appropriations estimated to be needed by each agency of the City of Baltimore for operating programs and capital projects during fiscal year 2016. You will have them in your mailboxes in the morning. So let me just tell you, we will begin on Tuesday, that is tomorrow, May 12th, with the budget overview from 5 to 7 p.m. with the budget, the Director of Budget and Bureau Management Research, and that will be televised, and we strongly urge you to be here to understand your budget books are in your offices, but it begins the process of the budget. We will resume for budget hearings beginning Wednesday, May 27th. Wednesday, May 27th at 1 p.m., and we will have budget hearings through till 8 p.m. From 4 p.m. till 8 p.m., the hearings will be televised. On Thursday, May 28th, we will begin budget hearings at 11 a.m. until 6 p.m. And on Friday, May 29th, we will have budget hearings from 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. On Monday, June 8th, we will have taxpayers' night, constant yield tax rate, at approximately 6:30 p.m. It will immediately follow the City Council meeting on Monday, June 8th. And you will have these in your inbox when you arrive tomorrow morning. Mr. President, I need to move to suspend Rules 10-2, 10-3 to announce a hearing.
Second by Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor of suspend the rules, announce a hearing, say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Holton.
Mr. President, the Budget and Appropriations Committee will hear City Council Bill 15-533 on Monday, June 8th. This is taxpayer night again, but I need to officially and formally do this for this bill. It will be televised on TV 25, and it is referred to as annual property tax for Baltimore City constant yield tax rate, which will be advertised in the newspapers on Saturday, May 30th by law as required. And so the hearing, which is known as Taxpayer Night, we will all be present for. It is our opportunity to listen and hear the voice of our citizens and what they feel about our budget. Mr. President, I need to move to suspend Rules 10-2, 10-3 to announce a hearing.
Second by Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor of suspend the rules, announce a hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Holton.
Mr. President, the Budget and Appropriations Committee will hear City Council Bill 15-534 on Wednesday, May 27th at 4 p.m. The operating budget for the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2016, here in council chambers, beginning at 4 p.m. Mr. President, I move to suspend Rules 10-2.
Second by Councilman Kraft. All those in favor of suspending the rules, announce a hearing, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion carries. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Holton.
The Budget and Appropriations Committee will hear City Council Resolution 15228R at 3 p.m. here in council chambers, an informational hearing, costs incurred and potential costs to be incurred by the city that result from the recent unrest and civil emergency. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Committee announcements. Chair recognizes Councilman Welch.
Thank you, Mr. President. Executive appointments will hold a hearing on Wednesday, May 20th, 2015 at 10 a.m. in council chambers to hear nominees for the Commission on Sustainability, Council Bill 150285, Avis Ransom as a member, 15284, Michael Furbish as a member, 15286, Inez Robb as a member. Also, we will hear a nominee for the Civilian Review Board, Council Bill 15287, Mary Denise Davis as a member.
Committee announcement. Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, the Land Use and Transportation Committee will hold a hearing on Bill 15-0513 on Wednesday, June the 3rd. This was originally scheduled on May 27th, so now it's scheduled for June 3rd at 1 p.m. in the council chambers. This is rezoning certain properties in the Sharp-Leadenhall Community Block 0947. And the committee will also hold a hearing on Bill 15-0486, Wednesday, June the 3rd at 1:05 p.m. This is a rezoning a portion of 901 South Caton Avenue. Thank you, Mr. President.
Committee announcements. Regular announcements. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Clark. I'm not doing this one.
Mr. President, members of the council, today we had a press conference, and I thank you for your support as a city council in calling upon the larger Baltimore community to help us after many long months of waiting to bring justice in the case of Mackenzie Elliott, the little 3-year-old girl who was killed by stray bullets on her front porch in broad daylight early one evening on August 1st, 2014. And all this time, there have been no arrests, there have been no convictions, but the neighborhood has waited, the neighborhood has demonstrated, and the neighborhood has hurt as well as her family. There are some hurts that will never heal in this case, but the call for justice needs to be heard. Thank you all for supporting the call to the community. The Metro Crime Stoppers has stepped up. They are offering a $2,000 reward. It has not been sufficient to the cause. We were asking the Baltimore community to begin to contribute to raise that amount of reward money, because we are at a point where it might make a difference. It might bring forward witnesses for the arrest, for the conviction that is needed in this case. So thank you for your attention on your desks. I have how to contribute to this fund. It requires that we have a community partner. That partner is Blessed Sacrament Catholic Church on Old York Road, whose pastor, Father Joe Muth, has kept Mackenzie's light in front of the community, her life, her light, and the need for justice in front of the community all these months. They will partner with Metro Crime Stoppers. So contributions are made payable to Metro Crime Stoppers, but they are sent to Blessed Sacrament Church, 4103 Old York Road in Baltimore, 21218. Small or large, we need and have a goal of raising this reward to $5,000 from $2,000 by the 31st of May. May 6th was Mackenzie's would have been her 4th birthday. We had a meeting of our committee that day. On the 31st, still her birthday month, we will have a street sign unveiling in her honor, as church service, and a breaking of bread by community together, all in the morning and early afternoon of that Sunday. We hope you will join us. We hope that in the meantime, we'll be able to announce that we have reached our goal of $5,000 reward. We already have an additional $1,050 just today. So I hope that the funds will continue to come in. And then what happens is the Blessed Sacrament Church collects the funds and then hands them over to Metro Crime Stoppers, and the reward goes up. So they'll be handing funds over on a regular basis. I know it sounds complicated, but really it's pretty simple. Justice needs to be served in this case for this little girl and her family. her family is aware of this effort. And and Father Muth reports that they support it and obviously are looking for closure and the justice required. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Councilman Costello.
Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues. I'm wearing this shirt tonight because I want you to ask me about State Center. This has a lot to do with the resolution introduced by the Council President this evening. State Center is a 28-acre site in the evening, which is a ghost town. It is the center of 9 neighborhoods: Upton, Druid Heights, Heritage Crossing, Madison Park, Marble Hill, McCullough Homes, Seton Hill, Mount Vernon, and Bolton Hill. And as many of my colleagues know, to get 2 community associations in this city to agree on the same thing is next to impossible. In this case, we have 12 associations, all part of the umbrella State Center Neighborhood Alliance, which represent those 9 neighborhoods, the businesses in that area, as well as the faith community, all in lockstep on the need for this development to occur and for it to occur now. This development will keep 3,600 jobs in the city. It will create an 80,000 square foot grocery store in areas where there is a need for fresh foods. And it will create ground level retail as well as a lot of residential units. This Friday, May 15th, there will be a block party there. It's a Grow Baltimore event being hosted by the Gathering, the State Center Neighborhood Alliance, and the Mount Royal Community Development Corporation. It'll be from 5 to 10 p.m. on the 200 block of Dolphin Street. There'll be bands, food trucks, etc. I hope you guys will consider coming out. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. We have a birthday. Councilman Welch, birthday is May the 14th. I want to wish him a happy birthday. Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Thank you. Mr. President, Councilwoman Holton, as chair of the Budget and Appropriations Committee, announced this evening the hearings on the budget. We will be having those hearings between now and when we meet again. The Board of Estimates reviewed the budget and approved it last Wednesday. That budget was prepared prior to the troubles that we went through over the last couple of weeks. The Vice President referred to them in terms of the cost and the resolution that he's introduced this evening, and Councilwoman Holton announced a hearing on that. But, Mr. President, everyone, ourselves, the mayor, our members of Congress, the governor, every single person who has talked about these disturbances that we've had has talked about not just Mr. Gray, but also the long-term systemic problems that are the root of all of this. The budget, as it has been presented to us, will not help us address those long-term systemic problems. If we move $3 or $4 million and we're able to fully fund the after-school programs next year, that should be a given. We need to have our pools open all summer. We need to have our recreation centers open all summer. Not only do we need more jobs for our children this summer, but we need more funding, and we need, when the funding comes, if we get the funding, we need placements for these people to work. So we have to have that. All of this cannot end on Labor Day, because when the children get out of school, these rec centers need to be open, and they need to be open, and they need to be fully staffed, and they need to be open till 9 o'clock at night. Now, these children that get jobs, some of these jobs, they should continue throughout the year, because the children go to school, and if they got a decent job, they should keep that decent job if they're able to work it, earn that money, and have that income. We need to to look at this budget very, very carefully. We need to look at where the money is going, and we need to work with the administration to get an amended budget that goes after some of these things, because just dealing with $4 million for community schools and fixing some summer programs, all that does is keep us where we are. And we cannot stay where we are, Mr. President. We cannot stay where we are, because if we stay where we are, this is just going to happen over and over and over again. And as Rahm Emanuel said, the mayor of Chicago, a crisis is a terrible thing to waste. The eyes of the world are on the city of Baltimore. Everybody wants to help us right now. We need to sit down and have a plan and say, this is our plan, it's going to cost this amount of money, and everybody's saying, you want to do it? Put your money where your mouth is, and let's make this happen. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Clark.
I have to second my colleague's motion and just add one other thing. We are having an Education and Youth Committee coming up on June the 4th, to bring ideas, but that will be, major ideas for the long term. But I just want to talk about the jobs program for 1 minute, because this is something where all of Baltimore can help, and it doesn't, part of it's money, yes, but part of it's not money. So there are, right now, we have funding for 4,500 youth for the summer. 8,000 are eligible and on the list which have applied. That's a money issue. That means we need to raise $1,500 per student, per child that we employ. So out of 8,000 who are eligible, we have 4,500 for whom we have money. Of the 4,500 for whom we have money, 271 of them have no place to go to work. There's no site for them to go to with their salary. These are youth works, ages 14 to 21, working 25 hours a week, earning $8.25 an hour, sites, places. So what we all can do is find a place for these young people to work. We have 271 of them that are funded that don't have any place to go. So it doesn't do them any good to have a salary if they have no place to work. So it's got to be 25 hours a week. We're not paying supervision. Wherever the site is has to supervise the young person. But that's something we can do. People want to help us with money. $1,500 puts a young person to work. But while you're doing it, please think about a site as well. Thank you, Mr. President. I just had to jump to my feet to add all that into our thinking about the immediate future. Later on June 4th, our committee is going to meet, Youth and Education, open to the public, come one, come all, not to just to say, okay, and what are our long-term goals for our young people? Not so we can begin to get into a routine of expanded opportunities. But right now, we got to turn up the Titanic around real fast for now, and then we've got to make sure we don't lose that momentum in years to come. A change, a sea change, so to speak, for Baltimore City in the right direction for our children. Thanks.
Thank you. We're going to have a moment of silence for Byron Showell. Yeah, and I don't have the names of the other homicide victims who have been murdered in the city of Baltimore the last 2 weeks. but we'll just have a moment of silence for them, even though we don't know their names. We'll have a moment of silence for them as well.
Mr. President, the next meeting of the City Council will be held on Monday, June the 1st at 5 p.m. in the Council Chambers. And I ask for a moment of silence for Byron, Showell, and all those victims from the civil unrest.
Thank you. There being no further business, this concludes the 91st meeting of the 71st term of the Baltimore City Council. Good night.